The gates to Planarcadia are opening soon, a planet under the patronage of the Aeon of Elation, and by the looks of it, we're facing the most insane region in the game's history. The core plot, a brutal battle royale. The winner takes the mantle of the Aeon of Elation for 1 single minute. We've compiled every scrap of available intel to bring order to this chaos, from the rules of Aha's game to the wildest theories out there. But the heroes deserve special attention. The arena will see a clash of interests from every faction, from the Stellaron Hunters and IPC to the Masked Fools and Galaxy Rangers. So, what exactly is Planarcadia? This planet was once literally flattened into a painting, but the IPC liberated it, restoring its volume. Formally, strictly speaking, it is corporation territory managed by the Strategic Investment Department. The IPC acts as the Grey Cardinal, pulling the strings and turning fantasies into business. And yes, this is where the legendary tavern is located, which we can finally visit in person. The planet itself belongs to the path of elation and is populated by unique entities, the Imagini. They are born from pure desire, fantasy, and human interest. Put simply, they are fictional characters brought to life. The main rule here is belief. The stronger the faith in the fiction, the more real it becomes. Aha personally created the first Imagine. It is called Phantasmoon, and it replaces the moon in this world. Legend has it that 8 morning actors once offered incredible stories to Phantasmoon, seeking to earn the right to an audience with Aha. That started the tradition. Whenever Phantasmoon is full, the divine game begins. The rules represent pure simplicity. After a preliminary selection, 8 participants remain who manage to claim a mask. These lucky few are called supplicants. The mask bonds with the player, takes the shape of their soul, and amplifies their abilities. The battle is for attention, and the weapon is crowd engagement. The brighter the performance and the higher the interest, the more wish power the participant receives. With it, they perform true miracles, entertaining the people even more. The winner who outshines the rest receives the grand prize, a personal meeting with Aha, and 1 wish granted. The Aeon shares their power with the champion, allowing a mortal to become the new god of laughter for 1 minute. It's basically a mix of a standard battle royale and the Holy Grail War. The power of elation can shake the entire universe, and Aha's games have happened before. Each winner disposed of the memory granted to them differently. One, for instance, wished to erase memory itself. The result was terrifying. Across countless worlds, historical chronicles, technologies, and texts vanished. Among the victors was Adrian Spencer Smith, the famous historian whose comments we read in the databank. Even Oswaldo Schneider once emerged victorious in the game of Elation, the former nameless and current head of IPC marketing, the very man who destroyed Boot Hill's homeworld and who the cowboy is currently hunting down. Another case is even more surprising. The winner wished to create an afterlife. Aha granted it in style, pulling the souls of the dead, the execution seekers, out of nihility. Those long gone returned to the land of the living. Among them was the legendary Icy, the ancient navigator of the Astral Express, a figure of mythical scale. He led the train for hundreds of Amber eras, witnessing Ahavili's fall and Nihilux' birth. He should be dead, but Aha's joke effectively resurrected him. Now the Trailblazer has a real chance to meet this legend. Here we need a major disclaimer. The intel on Spencer and Oswaldo winning might be fake. The program was sponsored by Enigmata followers, the history fictionologists. They love distorting facts, and Elation often rewrites records anyway. Remember the main thing, we are flying to the planet of Elation. Any fact here could be twisted or completely made up. We already know the essence of the classic game, masks, hype, and miracles, but it seems the upcoming ceremony will be an exception. It's turning into a true race for survival. Even in Sparksy's announcement, players noticed a rabbit split into black and white halves. That's a direct reference to Monokuma, the symbol of Danganronpa. There, characters were locked in a closed space and forced to kill each other for freedom. Aha confirms the madness level. In the release trailer, his avatar isn't asking for simple fun anymore. Now he openly demands a bloody massacre for his viewing pleasure. According to current info in the chronicles of past games, such calls for open slaughter have never appeared. This sharp mood shift suggests that a different force is involved here. Has the shadow of Lord Ravager Asat Pramad already fallen over Planarcadia? And it seems he is the one dictating this new, sadistic script. However, we can't rule out that the Aeon of Elation simply got bored with the old rules and this time wanted to see some real hardcore action. We'll find out who pulls the strings in the story. but we'll discuss Asat in detail a bit later. The plot thickens on Planarcadia, starting with global politics. After the victory at Iron Tomb, the antimatter legend has gone off the chain. The universe's destruction accelerated, and the situation became critical. In response, the IPC announces the Interastral Peace Initiative, the Anti-Destruction Alliance. The corporation is calling for the paths of Trailblaze, Harmony, Erudition, and Hunt to unite. Planarcadia will be the gathering point for this alliance. The situation reminds of Penacony events, a massive festival again, representatives of all factions in one place again, and just like on the planet of festivities, every guest is hiding a weapon up their sleeve. Let's start with the instigators, the IPC. Pearl, one of the 10 Stonehearts, is heading to Planarcadia. She is supervised by Opal, who holds a higher rank. He gave his colleague a special mission, trap a mysterious person whose name was censored in the trailer. Pearl herself pompously calls this the finishing touch on the preservation blueprint. Who is this Mr. X? It's a mystery. Recent plots hinted at an IPC conflict with the Archforger, but Asat rules Planarcadia, not him. So, the intrigue stands. A curious detail, Pearl already has a mask, a ticket to the game. Apparently, corporate resources let her skip the brutal selection. Moving to old friends, the Stellaron Hunters. Silver Wolf will be the main star of this update. Her key role was highlighted at the announcement, marking her portrait with a special frame. Wolf hails from Punklord, where reality is perceived as digital code and a game. Local hackers use either cartridges to literally hack and rewrite reality for themselves. Wolf receives one such cartridge from Elio as a debt repayment. Perhaps it's that legendary hacker record she tried to steal from Herta way back at the very beginning of the game, or maybe Elio found a cartridge of a totally different legend. Joining her is Blade. It seems he finally unleashed his inner power, activating a new form. And a crucial nuance. Apparently Elio's script is useless on Planarcadia. Against the absolute unpredictability of Elation, prophecies don't fully work. The Hunters will have to improvise. Among the rookies, the community already loves Nihilux. This colorful character is the embodiment of all of us when deadlines burn. Nihilux is the boss of procrastination. She prefers escaping through a window to draw art and write fanfics instead of working. She launched that insane ad about a love triangle between Aha, Nanook, and Ahavili. She is walking meta-irony. She writes fanfiction about universal gods, mixing every genre. And it seems her portfolio even includes a romantic love story between sworn enemies, Lan and Yaoshi. Since we mentioned Lan and Yaoshi, we can't forget the alliance. Yao Guang enters the game, the diviner strategist from the Yukwei ship. They call her the Goddess of Luck. She sees tens of thousands of futures using powerful prediction algorithms, yet always acts her own way, unafraid of risk. A grim prophecy about the abominations of abundance brought her to Planarcadia, but her main goal is to find a long-awaited variable. The Alliance already holds the remains of the propagation Aeon and Nanook's blood. Presumably, Yao Guang should get here something capable of playing a decisive role in the ultimate war against Yaoshi. Finally, the darkest horse, Ashveil. The devs introduced him as Planarcadia's famous detective, and as we know, where a great detective appears, crime inevitably follows. His goal is to track down a missing Aeon, but which one? Candidates abound, but the most likely are 3, Ahavili, Oroboros, and, suddenly, Aha himself. The version 4.0 stream teaser directly hints that the god is gone, and the party host might be absent. We'll talk about Aha later, but the Oroboros option is intriguing. The trailer showed Voracity alongside active Aeons, Klipoth, Yaoshi, and Nanook. Perhaps the detective is hunting her? Though, honestly, it's unclear what an ancient cosmic predator would be doing on the planet of Elation. The Oroboros theme connects to other heroes too. Ruin May appeared in the trailer. She's long been studying Leviathans, trying to figure out where Voracity vanished. Joining her is Stephen Lloyd. We saw his face for the first time, just an ordinary young guy. Given this concentration of geniuses, Planarcadia or the upcoming patches should drop a massive Oroboros lore reveal. Maybe we'll finally learn where the cosmic predator is hiding. Moving to the Fools. It's complicated. Our old friend Sparkle will act as an ally, but her opponent is someone called Hunter Sparksy. She's a popular Planarcadia streamer who hunts other Sparkles. She also acts as a boss in the story, having amassed huge wish power. Harmony isn't sitting this out either. The guest list includes Robin, acting as the tuner for the Emanator Beatrice. The trail leads to Astropolis, a famous resort and HQ of interastral peace entertainment. That is where the Express heads in the second half of the year, into the heart of the IPC Empire. Finally, the total mysteries. First, a swordswoman with fox ears, an alternate Sakura from Honkai Impact. We only know her name so far, Evanesia. Second, a mysterious Galaxy Ranger in a maid outfit. She was spotted with Boothill and Rappa, who, by the way, also arrived on the planet of Elation. Her identity and role remain unknown. And third, another unknown woman, glimpsed only briefly in the trailer. So besides the known faces, at least 2 new heroes await us. Now let's talk about where the plot is moving globally. Planarcadia isn't just another stop. The devs officially stated the Elation arc will last a whole year. Planarcadia is just the start of a massive adventure touching other corners of the universe. This new chapter should reveal the true essence of Elation in Honkai cosmology, giving it way more screen time and lore attention. The second major vector is Trailblaze. The Astral Express will, of course, join Aha's game. But Himeko's role is far more interesting. Planarcadia is her true home. This is where the Express crashed in the past, and where the new navigator resumed the journey 15 years ago. The crew is incredibly popular here. There's even a hit comic called The Fluffy Wanderer, released about the Nameless, turning them into cute animals. Obviously, we'll get more details on Ahavili and the path of Trailblaze. Judging by the trailers, the Aeon's figure will be a central plot pillar. This is confirmed by the Express's history, inextricably linked here with Himeko. Elation is perhaps one of the most vast and complex philosophical concepts in the game universe. Usually, when discussing the Aeon Aha, we only recall the most obvious surface facets of the path. First, hedonism and escapism, the desire to lose oneself in eternal partying, escaping reality into fantasy, ideas literally embodied in Planarcadia's mechanics. Second, absurdity and satire, the methods of fools like Sparkle, chaos for chaos's sake, a joke meant to knock the arrogance off the powerful and show that status means absolutely nothing. But Planarcadia should dig deeper. The writers love embedding life-affirming ideas about struggle and the value of existence. Applying this to Elation, we can highlight 2 main, elevated morals. First, joy in the small things, the humanistic idea that life's meaning isn't in divine games, but in simple details. A friend's smile, good food, a moment of peace. The true power of Elation is the ability to gift this light to others. The second, more epic vector, laughter in the face of the abyss. Here, Elation becomes a weapon. It is the concept of an unbending spirit. As long as you can laugh in the face of death, you are never defeated. Laughter transforms into an act of supreme defiance, a rebellion against fate. And this is where Asat Pramad enters the equation, a being who perverts this idea. He embodies Anti-Elation. In his eyes, laughter isn't rebellion or life, but the privilege of the executioner. Asat's philosophy is simple and cruel. He who burns the stage with the actors laughs last. Asat revels in others' pain. He considers any struggle a dragged-out, boring anecdote, just stupidity. This Lord Ravager finds true elation only in the act of destruction itself. Asat doesn't rely on brute force. He plays chess, using living beings as pieces. His appearance resembles a surreal nightmare. Instead of a head, a purple hand. Above its palm floats a 20-sided die, and this die always rolls the same number. A mockery of the very randomness of elation. Interestingly, the devs quietly rewrote part of his lore, changing Asat's testament between patches. In the old version, Asat was a tired pensioner. He craved silence and dreamed of closing the curtain, weary of life's spectacle. That villain would have simply turned off the lights on Planarcadia. The new text paints a different picture. Now, Asat is a cynical theater critic and sadist. He calls events bland and boring, claiming he can't hold back laughter while hundreds of thousands weep. Asat Pramad has become the true destroyer of elation. His tactic is turning war into a sick joke. Once, he spent 100 years slowly advancing troops, just so the front line would spell out the phrase, "Destruction is the end of laughter." And after destroying a planet, he burns a giant smiley face onto its surface. A battle of philosophies is coming to Planarcadia. Aha asserts laughter is life, the exclusive right of sentient beings, the ability to see humor even facing the icy void. For Asat, laughter is nothing more than agony, the death rattle of the doomed. He arrived to turn the Carnival of Elation into a horror show and revel in the despair of those who believed in a happy ending. The main plot issue is paranoia. We don't know where the enemy is. Asat Pramad won't attack head-on. He'll hide among known heroes. Even the latest trailer split the player base. Who is that entity on screen? Aha, or Asat wearing a disguise? It craves blood, and suspiciously, it speaks of Ahavili with the exact same words and intonations as the Lord Ravager. Just compare them.
But who could say that Ahavili on a new journey? Ahavili on a new journey. I know you're watching.
Yet, at the same time, the character speaks as the Aeon, promising to grant power to the winner. Moreover, he declares readiness to join the war against Nihilux. However, we can't rule out that Aha simply decided to have fun and personally join the cruel game. Remember the missing Aeon status from the teaser? Maybe he just descended to the field as a player. In short, keep your eyes open. Anyone could be the traitor in this plot, and the devs are just adding fuel to the fire. The video description lists voice actors for everyone, but the voice of our Aha Asat was intentionally ignored, confirming the trailer's words, "Guess who I am now." By the way, among the cards with path icons and Asat, there was a curious one, a cat with a vortex. Is this the symbol of the path of finality? Regarding Asat's origin, there are several theories. First, Asat is Aha himself. The Aeon of Elation decided to try killing themselves for a laugh, but that sounds too simple. Plus, everyone and their dog has already suggested it. Second, the glitch. A much more interesting version is that Asat is a broken Imagina, an entity born from the collective fear or death drive of Planarcadia's residents, a bug in the code of a perfect world. Third, the former winner. Perhaps Asat is a champion of past games. Touching Aha's power, he saw true elation in destruction and returned to finish the job. The villain's name is quite intriguing. Asat in Sanskrit translates as non-existent. Pramad as error, madness, or negligence. And in the Chinese version, his title implies death or return to nothingness. This fits the glitch theory perfectly. It means Asat is literally a system error born of negligence, an anomaly that shouldn't be here. Of course, these are just theories, but the most intriguing question, how do you destroy Elation? Lord Ravagers aren't just generals of Nihilux, they are conceptual weapons. To kill a path, you must break its foundation. For example, Iron Tome destroyed erudition by breaking the laws of physics and logic that knowledge is built on. And Ephemera, in one future, burns memory, literally erasing history and robbing the universe of its past. Asat strikes at the very heart of Elation, its unpredictability. Remember his die, it always rolls the same number. Asat uses the method of absolute predetermination. He seeks to strip the universe of surprises and turn life into a rigid script where the tragic ending is written in advance. Imagine, you know the punchline of a joke before it starts, and that punchline is your death. You certainly won't be laughing. Perhaps boredom and fatalism will be the weapons he uses to kill the god of laughter. And finally, an important observation. Asat Pramad contrasts sharply with past antagonists. Recall Kokolia, Sunday, or even Lycurgus. All were, in a way, tragic figures with good intentions. They stumbled or chose a radical path to save things in their own view. You could partly understand them. Asat Pramad is different. He is a pure sadist, using others' suffering as fuel. He has no noble goal or tragic past to justify his cruelty. At least, that's how it seems right now. Lastly, the most insane content. The devs recently dropped a trailer that broke the internet, presented as an ad by Nihilux, a total trash comic in shoujo manga style. The plot is a love triangle between Aeons, Aha, Nihilux, and Ahavili, a real romantic story unlike any before. Nihilux acts as the jealous ex, killing the Aeon of Trailblaze, and Aha is the tragic widow seeking revenge. It looks like a joke, but knowing Hoyoverse, every absurdity has a double meaning. Real lore is likely hidden here. For instance, Nihilux and Ahavili's death. In the video, the Destruction Aeon kills Ahavili multiple times, and Aha knows it. We know about universe cycles where the Trailblazer must overcome finality. So, do Aeons retain memories of past iterations, or did Ahavili respawn repeatedly in the same cycle, only for Nihilux to destroy him every time? Though in the simulated universe way back at the start of the game, Herta claimed Nanook never met Ahavili, yet she clearly didn't expect his instant attack on the Trailblazer. Second, the blood of a god, the biggest hint. Aha uses a dagger to extract Nanook's blood to resurrect Ahavili. The Xianzhou Alliance already wants to use Destruction's golden blood as a weapon. Maybe returning the Aeon of Trailblaze really requires a divine tier ingredient? And finally, the ending. When the ad stops, we presumably see the real Aha. He hugs the screen with Ahavili's name and whispers that he will definitely find him. Of course, many things in this joke video will only make sense in retrospect. When the plot truly unfolds, write your theories in the comments. And to wrap up, the incredible generosity of the devs in version 4.0. The gifts, a free legendary character of your choice, and a free skin for Ruin Mei just for logging in. The Trailblazer gets a new outfit too, plus a total of 20 pulls for login and the planet release, and 1,600 Jade for a 5-day event. And every envelope has a 0.01% chance to drop 100 pulls at once. A collaboration with Fortnite was announced. Kafka and Blade will appear in the Battle Royale of another game. And the most intriguing teaser at the stream's end in the IPC's wanted list, Vita, a character from Honkai Impact, flashed by. Another direct hint at her upcoming appearance in Star Rail. By the way, the channel already has a detailed video about her. Make sure to watch the previous video via the card on screen. You can support new videos via donation or subscription on Ko-fi. Thanks for watching!